Lesson 1.4 Measure and Clarify Angles. At the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to successfully name, measure, and classify angles. An angle consists of two different rays with the same endpoint. So this would be ray 1 and the other ray sharing the same endpoint. The rays are the sides of the angle. The endpoint is the vertex of the angle. The angle at the left here has sides ray AC and ray AB. The angle can be named in three different ways. We have angle A, angle CAB, CAB, or angle BAC. A is the vertex of the angle. Example 1, name the three angles in the diagram below. So the first one we would have angle ABC. Second one, angle CBD. And the third one, angle ABD. Postulate 3, the protractor postulate. Consider ray OB and point A on one side of OB. Let's disregard this ray for now. The rays of the form OA can be matched one-to-one with the real numbers from 0 to 180. So for now, if this were A here, it's going to be matched to 0. So if I were to move the ray to this given ray here, I can match this ray to 100, about 114 degrees, I'm thinking. Okay, so the measure of angle AOB is equal to the absolute value between the real numbers for ray OA, so let's say if this is really 114 degrees, and ray OB, 0 degrees. So if I were to take the difference between these 2 degrees, it has to be the absolute value, which is 114 degrees. Angles can be classified as acute, right, obtuse, and straight. An acute angle is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees. And an obtuse angle is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. And a straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. Example 2, use a diagram to find the measure of the indicated angle and then classify the angle. So when we're looking for the measure of the indicated angle, we're looking for a degree. When we're classifying the angle, we're naming the angle as acute, right, obtuse, or straight. So here we have angle WSR. Let me put some points in. R, S, T. So this is point T. So R, WSR, so we say this is starting from 0 degrees, that is going to be, reading from clockwise, 65 degrees. And since it's between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, we call it an acute angle. Angle TSW, so we're going to have to start reading it from this 0. That is about 115 degrees. So we call this an obtuse. And angle RST is a straight angle, so that's 180 degrees. So we just write straight. Then we have angle VST, so that is 90 degrees. We have a right angle. Now I would like you to pause the video and do example 3 on your own, and then play the video for the answer. And here are the answers. Postulate 4, the angle addition postulate. If P is in the interior of angle RST, then the measure of angle RST here is equal to the sum of the measures of angle RSP and angle PST. If P is in the interior, meaning inside, of angle RST, then measure angle RST is equal to measure angle RSP plus measure angle PST. So measure angle RST is equal to measure angle RSP plus measure angle PST. So please pay attention to how it's represented symbolically. Okay, now let's do example 4. Given that measure angle GFJ is 155 degrees, find measure angle GFH and measure angle HFJ. So we can do 4x plus 4 and add it to 4x minus 1 and set it equal to 155 degrees. And then after solving for x, you should get x equal to 19. And then we're not done yet. We need to substitute 19 back in for x here into this expression to find the degree. So 4 times 19 plus 4 should be 80 degrees. And 4 times 19 minus 1 should be 75 degrees. These will be your answers. Now I would like you to pause the video and try example 5 and then continue to play the video for the answers. So after you solve for x, you should get x equal to 23, and 23 minus 4 is 19 degrees, and 3 times 23 plus 2 should be 71 degrees. And 19 plus 71 should be 90 degrees. Okay, when two angles are congruent, then they have the same measure. So when two angles are congruent, it's represented by a little arc. Angle measures are equal. We need to use the letter M to represent them symbolically. Measure angle A is equal to measure angle B. But when we say angles are congruent, we don't use the little m. We use the congruent symbol and read it as angle A is congruent to angle B. This is going to be very important later on when we do proofs. Example 6. Identify all pairs of congruent angles in the diagram. So here we have a double arc and another double arc. So angle L is congruent to angle N, while angle P is congruent to angle N. Part B. If measure angle P is 120 degrees, what is the measure of angle N? It will still be 120 degrees. An angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two angles that are congruent. So example 7, we have WY, ray WY, bisecting angle XWZ. So this means this bisector will cut the ray into two congruent angles. So here it gives angle XWY is 29 degrees. This also means that angle YWZ is 29 degrees. And it says, or asks you to find the measure of angle XWZ. So we just have to double 29 or add 29 together 2 times. And this should give you measure angle XWZ should equal to 58 degrees. And I want you to pay attention to another minor detail. When you're dealing with numbers, you need to represent the angle as measure, the little m, followed by the angle name. But when you're describing angles or writing angles that are congruent to each other, you write the little m. Instead, you just write the angle name, followed by the congruent symbol, and then the angle, the other congruent angle. So please remember this minor detail. And we will continue the lesson in class.